5. Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is pretty much known for his composed behavior and for overall being a calm and collected individual. In fact, he's so chill and calm, he even made a song about it. Ever heard of the song The Lazy Song? Odds are you have, considering the song almost has 1 billion views on YouTube, but that's besides the point. Back on topic. He is a worldwide phenomenon and one of the top artists in the music industry. I mean, how could a man who has won 4 Grammys and is constantly topping the top 50 charts ever have such a blemish on his career that would overshadow that? Serving jail time? Bruno Mars? No way. Well, we're here to tell you yes way. Bruno Mars, like many others in his profession, had served jail time. In 2010, after playing a sold-out show in Las Vegas, Bruno Mars was busted and caught with nearly 3 grams of cocaine. The official charge was felony drug possession, but after getting caught and escorted back to the station, he was also charged with bad behavior towards the police. Drug possession is a fairly high-level crime in the streets of Las Vegas, and the 4-time Grammy Award winner could have faced up to 4 years of jail time. But after pleading guilty to the drug possession charges, Bruno was only made to pay a hefty fine and to serve a minimum of 30 days in county jail and 1 year probation. Number 4. Tim Allen. Tim Allen was the star of the ever-loved long-running family comedy Home Improvement, a show which ran as a staple of ABC for nearly a decade, generally known as The Family Man. If you wanted to be considered a man of the house or a dad in the 90s, you were most likely compared to Tim Taylor, the character Tim played in the show. This man was the perfect fit into the mold of a stereotypical dad, but that was his persona in the 90s, only after he went into show business. Before that, 1970s young adult Tim Allen was a completely different man, and since he had no way of making money and his show business career hadn't taken off yet, he had to resort to, different means of making money, namely the golden gates of the drug world. What he didn't realize was that those precious and tempting gates would only lead to his own demise. In 1978, 25-year-old Tim Allen was caught with an entire pound of cocaine. His drug trafficking connections were exposed and Dad of the Year was charged with a Class A felony. In order to get a lighter sentence, Tim Allen struck a bargain. In exchange for the names of all of the dealers he was connected to, Tim would reduce his life in prison sentence to a mere 28 months, or a little more than 2 years for you fancier folk out there. Number 3. Frank Sinatra, a voice of silk, was often used to describe one of the most iconic singers ever, Frank Sinatra. He was the man to be, and the man to befriend in the mid-1900s. But before his rise to superstardom, Frank was a different man. Mr. Sinatra is well known to have had connections to the mafia and other organized crime, but surprisingly, this was not the reason for his conviction and subsequent incarceration. He was incarcerated for something we really couldn't imagine today. As you see, the early 1900s were a very different time than what we live in today. In 1938, Frank's official charge was seduction. Yeah, you heard me right. Seduction. In 1938, Frank was detained for having an affair with a married woman in his home state of New Jersey, which was illegal at the time. Later in the same year, he was brought back to the same jailhouse on charges of adultery. Both cases were eventually dismissed, but only after he served an alleged 3 months in county jail. Frank Sinatra was a player among players, from the way he walked to the way he talked and the way he sung. Frank was just the epitome of a ladies' man. He couldn't help that every woman at the time wanted a piece of him. Along with his arrests, he was also constantly getting in trouble with his wife back home for having multiple extramarital affairs to the point where it led to their divorce. A variety of gossip magazines covered these affairs, and Frank didn't let any of these charges affect his career and legacy. Number 2. Paul McCartney. One of the 2 last remaining Beatles, he and his band together pretty much created the rock star image, and were pioneers in making teenage girls faint due to excitement. Paul McCartney is definitely one of a kind, even when it comes to the Beatles. There's obviously his successes with the band, but he also managed to have an amazing solo career, still selling out arenas worldwide to this date. Paul was considered not only one of the more wholesome guys in the Beatles, but also one of the most wholesome guys in rock and roll. Period. But even one of the most wholesome guys in rock and roll has had run-ins with the feds. In 1980, while traveling to Tokyo, Japan to perform at a sold-out venue, the middle-aged McCartney was caught by Tokyo airport security for trying to smuggle over half a pound of marijuana. After he was caught, he was told by the Vice Consul of Britain that he could face up to 8 years in prison. But due to his popularity and lovability, he actually only served 2 weeks in prison. Paul stated to a journalist investigating the story of his incarceration that the first day was the worst and that he was scared that he wouldn't be able to see his family for years. The experience definitely changed Paul in one way or another. Number 1. Bill Gates. Even the richest man in the world has had his run-ins with the law. What was it? Drug use? Money laundering? Assassinating his competitors? Nope, something far more commonplace. In the 70s, the years in which he was arrested, Bill Gates, the world's current richest philanthropist, was a teenager. And just like any other teenager, he was trying to be cool by driving in accordance to his own laws. In his first run-in with the cops in 1975, Bill Gates was arrested for speeding and driving without a license, but not thrown into jail just yet, as he paid the bail and went on his way. In his second run-in with the law in 1977, Bill was arrested for running a stop sign. Not too bad, right? Everyone makes mistakes after all. Oh, and once again, driving without a license. Seriously, Bill? Twice in a row? Since this was his second offense of driving without his license, Bill didn't have any choice but to serve jail time. Thankfully for Bill, he was able to get a reduced sentence due to his connections and a little bit of that sweet computer money. In his third and apparent final run-in with the law, Bill was arrested under suspicion of driving drunk, but unsurprisingly the charges were reduced. It really does pay off to be super rich, doesn't it?